I came across a gem of a video. If you've ever seen any campaign video from any politician, specifically on the Democratic side of the spectrum, then you know exactly what it feels like to watch this sort of drivel. Nevertheless, I will have you take a look at this. It's really sad, and it kind of tells you everything you need to know about American politics.
This is the most important election of our lifetime. The stakes are high.
To be a part of the most important election of our lifetime.
In the most important election of a lifetime, where everything that you care about is on the line.
This is the single most important election any of you in this room will ever have voted on.
And that's why this election could not be more important. This election is the most important election of our lifetime.
It's not an exaggeration to suggest that this is the most important election anyone in this room will ever participated in.
I can't think of a time in my lifetime when this country has faced a more important election. Now, I know politicians always come out and say this is the most important election. Well, this time we're telling you the truth.
This is the most important election in our lifetimes.
When we vote in this election, we'll be deciding what kind of country we want to live in.
I really believe it's the most important election of our lifetimes because we've never had a clearer choice.
There are only now 7 days left in the most important election of our lifetimes.
Voice is important, it matters, and this is one of the most important elections of our lifetime.
Hyperbole. This election is bigger than politics. This is the most important election you have ever voted in, no matter how old or young you are.
The real reason I came down to Miami, because this Tuesday might be the most important election of our lifetime. Politicians will always say that, but this time it's actually true.
This is a national emergency of our moral values. That's why this is the most important election of our lifetime. This is a moral reckoning as much as anything.
This is clearly the most important election in the modern history of this country. And Joe Biden, you have a human being who is empathetic.
3 days until the most important election of our lifetimes. And that includes mine, which was pretty important. This Tuesday, everything is on the line.
I believe this is the most important, and this is not rhetoric, I truly believe this is the most important election in our lifetime.
It's the most important election in our lifetime, not because I'm running.
This is the most important election of our lifetime.
I can't do the insurance reform stuff.
We took a long time to do our bill.
I can't dictate this stuff.
But I can't do that by myself.
We don't have the assurances.
One of the lessons I've learned in my first 4 years is that you can't change Washington from the inside.
Now, as I've said in the beginning, if you've ever seen any kind of campaign video from any politician, maybe some of them there in that video that you just saw, this was definitely reminiscent of old times. But this is something that's all too familiar in American politics, and it's something that I've been saying for quite some time, ever since I became interested in this entire thing, and it's that American politics are just a bunch of theater. I mean, I've made this joke before. The people that should be receiving the Oscars and what's the other award show, the Golden Globes, are the politicians, because they're the best actors. They're the best actors. They're the people that pretend to care. They're the people that walk out in front of cameras and reporters and hop on the news and pretend to give a single you-know-what about the regular you and me, when in reality they're beholden to their donors and to corporations and to the rich, and all they do is funnel money to the war machine and cause terrorism, internationally across the world on mine and your tax dollars, right? These are the people that should be receiving the rewards for best actors and actresses, because they are indeed the best at it. And the crazy thing about that video, I mean, it's this repetitiveness. They just roll out the same thing. And if you see it, whether it was Barack Obama that let out a little chuckle, or that other guy that said, no, this time we really mean it. It's as if they don't even believe their bullshit. It's like they know it's a shtick. And it really doesn't matter what side it is, Democrat, Republican, left or right. They have their own methods of indoctrinating you to get you to vote for them so they can continuously do the same thing. If you notice, if you seriously take a look and take a look at things and how things have progressed over the past several decades, obviously, economically, things are getting worse. Things have gotten worse and are continuing to get worse, right? But as it pertains to the structure of our economy, the way things are set up, nothing has fundamentally changed. And that is something that you may find reminiscent on Joe Biden's campaign speech that he said to his donors. Nothing will fundamentally change. He won't change anything, which indeed he hasn't. But if you take a look at our situation throughout the decades, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican that's in office, it's this continuation of stagnation. And there are many different areas that you can point to this that bear a relation to this, whether it's the real wage here in this country that workers earn. It's been stagnated since the mid-1970s. Real wages in this country have not gone up. They haven't necessarily really gone down. They've just kind of stayed flat. Worker productivity, by the way, has shot through the roof, but the amount of money that you're making in remuneration for that productivity has either gone down just a little bit or stayed exactly the same. So the working class as a whole is getting shafted. And then we have these actors. Right? These extremely crude and unscrupulous people come out on television, get in front of all these cameras, and they fool millions of people year after year doing the same shtick that you just watched, where they tell you, this is the most important election of your lifetime. This is the most important election of your lifetime. They're saying it now. They're going to keep saying it. And the sad thing about it is that it works. Every election is the most important election of your lifetime, but after each and every election, nothing really changes except things get worse for a lot of people. And for a very small amount of people, the people that these people are slaves to, life obviously gets exorbitantly better, And it's this pendulum swing from left to right, each party taking a turn to fuck us every 4 years or 8 years, depending on how the pendulum goes, whether it stays to one side for a little bit longer than the other. It's the same thing over and over and over again. And then towards the end of that video, I like how you get the revelation that when these people actually do get in power, all the promises, all the deals that were made with the people that voted for them, none of it ever comes into fruition. Whenever they seize power, this make-believe power that they have, it's really the people that fund them that have the power. They have no power. Like I said, they're actors. They're figureheads. These people, they don't run the country. Businesses, corporations, rich people run the country, right? But when they do get in office, nothing ever happens. But then they come back out and they tell us to vote for them. I don't see how anybody could subscribe to either party or any politician after witnessing what we've witnessed for these past several years. At the very least, since I've been on this earth, nothing productive has come from involving yourself in electoral politics. Now, obviously, we have people that are running. Maybe you know of them, maybe you don't. Cornel West is running for president. RFK Jr. is also running for president. These are people that are outsiders. These are people that are different. Obviously not the same as the individuals that you've watched in the video. But this isn't about them. This is about the same old theatrics, the theater, the play that goes on in American politics, where these people, they throw on these masks and they come out and they pretend to be something that they're not. They pretend to be these freedom fighters, these individuals that really care about you and me, when in fact, They do not. I have to say that video is almost a perfect example of how bored, how tired, how such little effort is put into what it takes to run a campaign nowadays, and the energy that you put into politics. This is the best. They're not even promising anything. They're not even telling you they're going to do anything. They're just telling you vote for us because you have to. Absolutely ridiculous.